I want to tell you something that is very important and that completely changed my life in ways I never expected. For many years, I tried very hard to learn English, but I could never make real progress no matter what I did. I bought many different books from bookstores, and I watched hundreds of videos online hoping they would help me improve. I also downloaded many different apps on my phone every single week, thinking that maybe one of them would work. But nothing worked for me at all, and I always felt like I was going nowhere with my learning. I always felt stuck in the same place without making any progress at all, and it was very frustrating for me. I felt very tired of trying again and again without seeing any results that made me happy about my efforts. I wanted to give up many times in my life because I thought maybe English was too difficult for me. Then one day, I realized something very important about learning languages that nobody had ever told me before in my life. I was doing everything in the wrong way, completely, and that is why I was not making any progress at all. Not because I was a lazy person who did not want to work hard at all to improve my skills. Not because I was a stupid person who could not learn new things, or who was not smart enough for languages, but because I was using the completely wrong method to learn, and that method would never lead me to fluency. Let me ask you one very simple question right now that I want you to think about carefully for a moment. How did you learn to walk when you were a very little child? Many years ago, in your early childhood? Did your parents sit you down and give you a big, thick book, all about the complicated rules of walking? Did they show you a very long and detailed video about all the movements your legs needed to make? Did they spend hours explaining all the scientific rules and physics of walking to you in complicated language you could understand? No. They did not do any of these things at all, because that is not how children learn new skills. You just tried to walk every single day back then when you were just a baby learning about the world. You fell down hard on the ground many times, and sometimes it probably hurt when you fell down badly. You stood up again with determination and tried one more time, even though you had just fallen down moments before. You did this every single day for many long months until you finally learned how to do it well. Until walking became very natural for you at last, and you did not have to think about it anymore at all. You did not think about the movements anymore after that, because your body had learned them completely and deeply. Your body just knew exactly how to do it, automatically, without any conscious thought from your mind telling it what to do. This is exactly how we learn absolutely everything that becomes automatic later in our lives without us even realizing it. This is exactly how we all learn our very first language too when we are young children growing up. And this is exactly how we must learn English as well if we want to become truly fluent speakers. But many people around the world do not understand this simple but powerful truth today about how languages are really learned. They think that English is like math or other school subjects that you study from books and memorize rules for. They think they need to memorize many complicated grammar rules first before they can even begin to speak to anyone. They think they need to study thick grammar books for many hours every single day to become fluent speakers. They sit with big, heavy books on their desk every day and spend hours reading them carefully and taking notes. They write very long lists of new words to remember on paper, and they try to memorize them all. They try very hard to remember everything from all the books they read and all the lessons they watch online. But when they actually try to speak English to someone in a real conversation that is happening right in front of them, nothing comes out of their mouth at that moment, and they just stand there in silence feeling very embarrassed. Their brain knows all the words they studied before from their books and their lists and their lessons perfectly well. But their mouth cannot move fast enough to say the words that are in their head at that very moment. They feel completely frozen and cannot speak at all, even though they want to speak so badly and have so much to say. They feel very scared of making any mistakes that will make them look stupid or foolish in front of other people. Why does this happen to so many people around the world who study English for years and years without success? Because they forgot something very important about language learning that makes all the difference between success and failure in the end. English is not just information that sits in your head, waiting to be used when you need it someday. English is action that you must do every single day of your life if you want to become fluent. Think for a moment about riding a bicycle in the park on a beautiful sunny day with the wind in your hair. You can read many different books about bicycles and exactly how they work mechanically with all their parts working together perfectly. You can watch hundreds and hundreds of videos about riding bicycles and watch other people do it successfully and gracefully. You can learn all the complicated physics about balance and movement and how your body maintains equilibrium while moving forward. But can you actually ride a bicycle just from reading all those books and watching all those videos without ever trying? Of course not. That is completely impossible for anyone in the world, no matter how smart they are or how much they study. You must actually get on the bicycle and sit down on the seat and put your hands on the handlebars. You must push the pedals with your feet and feel the bicycle start to move forward beneath you slowly. You must feel the wind blowing on your face as you move faster and faster down the path ahead. You must fall down many times and get back up and try again and again until you finally learn. Only then do you really learn to ride well, and only then does it become natural and automatic for you. English is exactly the same as riding a bicycle in every single way that matters for learning it successfully and permanently. You cannot learn English by only reading about it in books or watching videos about it on the internet all day. You must actually use it in your real life every single day, in real situations that matter to you personally. You must speak it with your own mouth and hear the words coming out, and listen to how they sound. You must live it every single day of your life, and make it a real part of who you are. When I finally understood this important truth, absolutely everything changed for me in the most amazing and unexpected ways possible. I stopped waiting around for the perfect textbook to appear that would magically teach me everything I needed to know. I stopped looking for magic methods on the internet that promised to make me fluent in 30 days or less. I stopped thinking that one day I would suddenly wake up and be fluent without having to work hard for it. Instead, I started doing something very simple every day that did not take much time or effort at all. I started using English in my daily life in small ways that felt natural and easy for me to do. Not for exams at school or work that I had to pass to get a good grade or keep my job. Not for tests that I had to take to prove something to other people who were judging my abilities. Just for me and my own life and my own personal growth and development as a person who wants to improve. Just for my daily activities and thoughts and the things I do every single day without even thinking about them, I started speaking to myself in English all the time, even when I was completely alone and nobody could hear me. I started thinking in English instead of my own native language whenever I could remember to do it during the day. I started describing my day in English to myself as if I was telling a story to an invisible friend. At first, it felt very strange and awkward to do this because it was so different from anything I had done before. At first, I made many mistakes every single day, and some of them were really embarrassing even though nobody was listening. But slowly, day by day, something absolutely amazing happened to me that I had not expected to happen at all. English started to feel very natural in my mind, like it belonged there and was not something foreign anymore. Let me explain in detail what I did every single day as part of my routine that helped me improve so much. Every morning, when I first opened my eyes in bed and the sunlight was coming through my window, gently waking me up, I said one complete sentence in English out loud, even though my voice was still sleepy and rough from sleeping all night. Just one simple sentence with basic words, nothing more complicated than that, because I wanted to keep it easy and sustainable. Sometimes I said things like, "Today is a new day for me, and I am going to make it a good one." Sometimes I said things like, "I feel sleepy right now, but I am ready to start my day and do my best." It did not matter at all what I said, or whether the sentence was particularly interesting or meaningful to anyone else. What mattered most was that I said something in English as soon as I woke up without thinking about it too much. This simple action became my morning signal to my brain that it was time to start thinking in English again. My brain learned very quickly that when I wake up every morning and open my eyes for the first time, I always speak English as the very first thing I do before anything else in my day begins. It became completely automatic after just a few weeks of doing it consistently every single morning, without ever skipping a day. I did not need to think about it anymore, or remind myself to do it because it had become a habit. I just did it naturally every single morning, as easily as breathing air into my lungs without any effort at all. Then during the day, when I was going about my normal activities and doing all the things I usually do, I started talking to myself quietly in English about everything I was doing and everything I could see around me. Not out loud in public places where other people could hear me and think I was strange or crazy for talking to myself, but quietly in my mind all the time, like a constant stream of thoughts flowing through my head in English. When I walked to work in the morning, and the streets were full of people rushing to get to their jobs on time, I described what I saw on the street in simple English sentences that a child could easily understand without any difficulty. I see a blue car driving down the road very fast because the driver is probably late for something important today. I see a very tall building over there that reaches up into the sky and has many windows reflecting the sunlight. I see many people walking fast to work because they do not want to be late and get in trouble with their bosses. These were very simple sentences with easy words that anyone learning English would know after just a few months of study. Very simple and very short sentences only that did not require any advanced grammar or complicated vocabulary at all. But they were very powerful for my learning, even though they seemed so simple and almost silly at times. Why were they so powerful for me? And why did they make such a big difference in my fluency over time? Because I was not translating from my native language first and then converting the words into English in my head slowly. I was thinking directly in English without any translation step in between, which made everything so much faster and more natural. This is the most important thing you must understand if you want to become fluent and speak without hesitation or fear. When you translate in your head first before you speak, your brain works very slowly like an old computer from many years ago. You think in your native language first about something you want to say to someone or to yourself in your mind. Then you take all those words and try to change them into English words one by one, very carefully and slowly. Then you check carefully if the grammar is correct, according to all the rules you learned in school many years ago. Then finally you speak the sentence out loud after all that mental work has been done in your head. This takes far too much time and makes you very slow and hesitant when you are trying to have a real conversation. Your words get stuck in your head like traffic in a jam, and they cannot come out smoothly and naturally. You feel very nervous when speaking because you are working so hard just to produce one simple sentence that should be easy. You lose all your confidence very quickly because speaking feels so difficult and exhausting every single time you try. But when you think directly in English, without translating first from your native language in your head before you speak, everything is very fast and smooth and natural, like water flowing down a river, without any obstacles in its path. You see something in front of you, or you have a thought in your mind about something you want to express. You think the English word immediately, without having to search for it or translate it from another language first. You speak it right away, without any delay at all between the thought and the spoken word coming out of your mouth. No delay at all between thinking something and saying it, which makes conversation feel natural and effortless, like breathing. No fear in your heart or mind about making mistakes, because you are not thinking about rules and grammar constantly. No stress about making mistakes at all, because you are focused on communication and expressing your ideas rather than being perfect. Children learn in this way when they are very young and just beginning to speak their first words to their parents. They do not translate anything in their heads at all, because they do not know any other language yet to translate from. They connect words directly to the things they see in the world around them, and the ideas in their little minds. When a small child sees a dog running in the park, they think the word dog immediately, without any other steps. They think just that one word, dog, not the word in their native language first, and then translating it to dog. Just dog directly without any translation or thinking about rules or grammar or anything else that might slow them down. This is the big secret that many language learners do not know or understand about how to become truly fluent. This is exactly what makes speaking fast and very natural and effortless, like it is for native speakers who grew up speaking. So I practiced thinking in English every single day, from morning until night, as much as I possibly could remember. I described my breakfast in the morning when I was eating and drinking my coffee before going to work for the day. I described my work during the day and all the things I was doing at my job and all the people I talked to. I described my feelings to myself throughout the day whenever I noticed how I was feeling emotionally about something happening. I said very simple things like, I am happy now because the sun is shining and it is a beautiful day today. I am tired from work today because I had many meetings and I had to talk to many different people all day long. I am excited about the weekend coming soon because I will have time to rest and do things I enjoy doing. Simple words with simple grammar only that any beginner could understand without any problems or confusion at all. Simple sentences that even a child could understand easily if they were learning English for the first time in their lives. But every single day, my brain got much stronger and faster at thinking in English without having to work so hard. At night, before sleeping in my bed, when I was tired and ready to close my eyes and rest after a long day, I did one more thing that was very important for my learning, and that made a big difference over time. I reviewed my entire day in English to myself and thought about everything that had happened from morning until night. I said 3 simple sentences about what I did today and what happened in my life during the past 24 hours. I worked at my office today, and I had several meetings with my colleagues about different projects we are working on together. I talked to my good friend on the phone for 30 minutes, and we discussed our plans for the weekend together. I ate chicken for dinner at home tonight with rice and vegetables, and it tasted very good, and I enjoyed it. That was all. Just 3 simple sentences that summarized my day in a very basic way, without too much detail. But this simple practice was very important for my learning and for making English a permanent part of my daily routine. It closed my day with English in my mind so that English was the last thing I thought about before falling asleep. It made English the last thing actively in my mind before my conscious thoughts faded away into dreams and sleep. Scientists have done research, and they say that what you think about just before sleep at night is very important. The things you think about before sleep stay in your brain much longer than other things you thought about earlier in the day. So I gave my brain English every single night before I closed my eyes and went to sleep peacefully. And every morning when I woke up with English already in my mind, ready to start the day. This simple routine became my daily system for learning English and improving my skills without studying from books or taking classes. Morning when I first woke up, during the day when I was doing my normal activities, and at night before sleep. 3 special moments of English every single day that took only a few minutes total, but made such a huge difference. Not long hours of studying at my desk with books and notebooks and feeling bored and tired from so much work. Not difficult tasks that made me feel stressed or tired or that required too much mental energy to complete every day. Just small and simple actions that anyone in the world can do no matter how busy they are or how little time they have. And the absolutely amazing thing was this realization that changed everything for me completely and forever in the best way possible. It did not feel like studying at all anymore, like it used to when I sat with grammar books and felt bored. It felt like living my normal life and just adding a small new element to it that felt natural and easy. I was not sitting with a boring book at a desk, feeling like I was forcing myself to do homework that I hated. I was not watching long, boring lessons on video that made me want to fall asleep from boredom after just a few minutes. I was just using English as a natural part of my life in ways that felt good and sustainable for me personally. And because it was part of my real life now and not separate from it, like studying usually is for most people, I never stopped doing it at all, even when I was busy or tired or did not feel like making an effort. I never felt too tired to continue because it did not require much energy or effort from me at all to do. I never lost my motivation to keep going because motivation was not required anymore once it became a habit in my life. Because it was not about motivation anymore at all, which comes and goes like waves in the ocean unpredictably and unreliably. It was about habit in my daily life, which is stable and permanent and does not require motivation or willpower to maintain. Let me take some time to tell you about habits and why they matter so much for learning languages and for making real progress. A habit is something you do without thinking about it at all or having to make a conscious decision every single time. You brush your teeth every single day, in the morning and at night, without thinking about whether you want to or not. Do you need motivation to brush your teeth every morning, or do you just do it automatically, without even considering not doing it? Do you wait for inspiration to come to you before you decide to brush them, or do you just go and do it? No. You do not need any of that motivation or inspiration or willpower at all to make yourself brush your teeth daily. You just do it automatically every single day without any thought or effort, because it has become a deeply ingrained habit. It is part of your daily routine that you have done thousands of times, and your body just does it automatically now. You do not even think about it anymore at all, or consider not doing it, because it is so automatic and natural. This is the absolutely amazing power of habits in life that most people do not fully understand or appreciate enough, in my opinion. Once something becomes a strong habit in your life that you do automatically without thinking about it at all or deciding to do it, it stays with you forever and never leaves you, no matter what happens in your life or how busy you become over time.